Hi guys, we're back. We're here to do Married at First Sight, Season 18, Episode 16. So let's jump into the episode, shall we? So they start off where they left off. Michelle going to ask Madison if she has anything to say to her now that David has come and apologized to her because he was doing all this lying. And Madison was explaining to her that, yeah, they like each other. They just told each other that. And she think that there may be something there. And that she didn't know that the text message, was for her. So here comes David with his mouth. And he was interrupting. So that made Michelle mad. So she went to her bedroom. Then MM and Camille come in to see how Michelle is doing. And Michelle is in there venting. And in her vent, she changes what the message actually said. She changed it from, I just want to eat you up, to I can't wait to eat you up. The thing, I didn't pay attention to it at first. But it wasn't until Camille and Thomas were talking. And they were like, oh, can't wait to eat you up. That sounds like something that's been going on, for a while. That's a message for somebody that that's going to appreciate getting it. So they were actually starting to spin a yarn from Michelle and her mess. And I don't understand why she's so upset about that message. I understand why she's upset about the lies that he told about it. But the message itself shouldn't even be a factor. She should be... Like when she talked to Madison, she was like, yeah, you just finished lying to my face. But Madison didn't lie to her. She did not know that that message was meant for her. She probably may have suspected it, if she actually sat down and thought about it. But she didn't know that the message was for her because she never got it. So she wasn't lying to you, Michelle, about that message, not being, her not knowing that the message, was for her. So anyway, Michelle is mad. She's like, oh, I can't be around them anymore. And she's ready to go. So MM is packing up her stuff too. And they drive away. And everybody's talking about that ADT commercial that Thomas and Camille did. That was awkward. I have to agree with that. So David and Juan are downstairs. And Juan gave David some really good advice. And I don't think that he said it in a way that couldn't be heard. So his delivery was really good. And what he had to say, was really good too. David kind of got offended when Juan was saying that he didn't know if he wants to hang out, around these people. And probably after the show's over, he won't. He was, I think his feelings kind of got a little hurt. But Juan said that the way that they did it, which I agree, was wrong. And so they could have said something. And my biggest thing is David didn't have to run around telling all them lies. That is what made it even worse, And even if this is a situation that no matter how it was done was going to make people mad. It was going to hurt people's feelings. And people were just going to feel some kind of way no matter what way the situation came out. Everybody keeps saying, well, if they had just done it this way, it would have been better. You still would have had the same reactions because that's just how human beings are. But just for David's sanity and his, mental health, just tell the truth. And Madison, you knew that you weren't interested in Alan, that you weren't going to say yes on decision day. So tell the truth. And this man is asking you. He's not just waiting on you to tell him. He's actively coming to ask. And you're not giving him the real solid answer. You're giving him platitudes. And that wasn't fair, to Alan. But yeah, Juan told him, you're going to have to talk to Alan. You got to come clean. You just got to man up. So that was good. So Madison and David, they talk, and David is saying to her that he is the dude that she's been talking to, and that Michelle didn't get to know. And so Madison is letting him know that, yes, we're still in the get to know phase. We're not in a dating, phase with each other at this point, because, we still got to deal with our marriages. And that was about it. So Carla, Camille, and Madison, they get some mimosas and they go sit down and talk. And she starts explaining to them, what happened. And she said that if she had gotten that message from David, she would have told him that it was inappropriate because they weren't at that stage for him to be sending her those kind of messages. So Carla tells her that what she did was grimy, and that it just makes it potentiates it, because she was, with them when they were going out after the cameras, were away. And then Carla was saying to Madison that this kind of situation is something that she doesn't want to be involved in, and that, she's not interested in pursuing a friendship with somebody who will participate in that kind of activity. So then Alan comes back to pick up his car, and while he's there, he's picking up some of the seasonings and things, I would assume equipment that he left, behind. And everybody's, giving him support. And, yeah, I thought that was really good. I encourage you guys to go down and look at those 2 videos. Then Madison, she checks out, she leaves, she goes and says, bye to David. And then David gets all his stuff, and then he leaves too. And then Michelle, she calls Dr. Cal and starts whining to him and I actually think that he knew. I don't know if this was for the cameras, Dr. Cal, but I'm sure that somebody from production called you and told you what happened. But anyway, Michelle breaks the news to him, and he acts like that's the first time, he's heard it. So, yeah, that's about it. Oh, and I'm going to say here, I'm wondering if this was the time when she reiterated that she was actually trying. Okay, Michelle. He'll believe you. I wouldn't believe you, especially having watched, the season. So hopefully when they actually go back and watch it back and they see, how she blew her marriage up, being stupid and being judgmental. That's the biggest problem I have with the people who are watching the show. Everybody's asking me, well, why are you being so mean? Why are you talking to people? Because I don't like people who judge other people. And if I catch you doing it, then I'm going to judge you back. I'm going to give it back to you. Because, number one, we weren't there. Number two, I like what Carla said on the after party. She doesn't know. I have been verbally abused. I've been verbally abused. I've been physically abused. And I've been mentally abused. And I've been emotionally, abused. By my own damn people. So a lot of people are wondering why I have such a disdain, for black people. It's because I still keep getting abused by black people. I told y'all what happened. This dude, accused me of me thinking that I'm white. And I don't think that I'm white. See, that's the kind of mess and judgment that I get from people in the black community. They just pour all of their projections upon me as if what they think about me is the actual truth, instead of finding out from me information so that they can ascertain what the truth, really is. I'm the only one that can tell you about me. There's nobody on this. My mother used to do this to me. Oh, you this and you that and you. I mean, I got my hatred of being judged from her because she just wouldn't stop, because she knew that she could just vomit out whatever she wanted to say, and then I couldn't say nothing, back to her. And it caused a real rift, in our relationship. I would do everything I can to get away from my mother. I mean, I'd be around her for a certain amount of time, but then I had to go because I knew she was going to start with her mouth. And so as she got older, she actually, kind of mellowed out. And we were able, to actually have conversations, and stuff, with each other. So before she died, we were able to kind of bury, a lot of things. I had become older, and again, she had become older, and we, just kind of let a lot of stuff go. But yeah, she was horrible. She said stuff to me that she never would say to somebody else. And I mean, I picked it up. That's part of the reason why I know how to go in on somebody, is because that's how she used to talk to me. And now that I'm realizing that I have picked that up from her, that's something else that I have to deal with, that I got to get out of my system, because it has damaged me in a horrible way. So anyway, who is this? Where are we now? Carla. Okay, so Michelle is talking to Cal. And then I have here Carla and, is it Camille? Are they playing basketball? Yeah, they're playing, I thought they were playing horse at first, but I think they ended up playing pig. So the guys were playing with them, but then they couldn't shoot, they couldn't hit nothing. So I guess they stopped and they let the game go on between Carla and Camille. So Alan and Michelle, they meet up. She's still whining and crying, talk about, I can't cry yet because I'm still so mad. What are you crying about? I would have been just mad. Where are these tears, coming from? I understand you being mad about being lied to, Michelle, but the tears, what are you crying about? Did you start to like David? And then, you found out that he was actually looking at somebody else. You thought that he was all up in your blonde, blue-eyed hair behind. Yeah, and then you found out that somebody else got caught his attention. Is that what we are upset about, Michelle? Anyway, she's still putting, ideas and stuff, into Alan's head. And that is why I called her messy. Because if you're going to have this conversation, have it based in fact. Don't put innuendos and stuff out there. This man is already hurt. And you adding to his hurt, I think is, malevolent, Michelle. So that's another phraseology I have for you. Malevolent Michelle. Y'all gonna see that on one of my titles. So we see Alan, he's leaving the apartment, and then that's when we see him destroying the vows and breaking her cup and tearing up the wedding book and stuff like that. And so David, he's meeting up with his friend and telling him about what happened between he and Madison, and he's explaining to his friend that they were getting to know each other, and it was just certain things, that he saw her doing that he actually does. She likes playing darts. She likes, going out having a good time. She's adventurous. What else did he say? She was making her a fantasy football team, and that's all kind of stuff, he likes to do. Plus, she actually stopped and listened, to him, and then he felt like she was actually able to see something in him that was core and in agreement with how he felt about himself. So Madison goes, and she's going through the apartment to go pack her stuff up, and then she calls her friend, and she's talking to her friend, telling her that Alan, tore stuff up, and her friend was like, oh no, he shouldn't do that, but Alan was hurt. So people can have an opinion about something, but if you haven't actually gone through it, then the judgment that you're coming off with is really not fair, because this man was hurt. He thought that him and David was cool, and he was trying to pursue something, with Madison. So, I get it. I understand why he did it, and even if you wouldn't necessarily do it, you could still be able to see the other side as to why he, would do it. So we got MM and Ikechi coming in to meet the experts, and they have their decision day, here. So MM decides that she's going to read him a note, and she's got recommendations and stuff in a folder. Her folder was purple. I wonder if everybody going to jump up and down about the color of her folder like they did with Ikechi's when he came to the retreat. So, yeah, Ikechi said he's out, he's done, but he's still a victim. Well, now y'all see what I had to deal with, No, nut, we don't see what you had to deal with. We see what she had to deal with, and I wonder, coming up on the reunion, what he thinks now, looking back, at the show. So then here we go with Madison and David meeting up with the experts. Now, they are sticking to the story. They're sticking to the story that they have been telling, and the experts were very critical. They were like, wait a minute, what? You mean to tell me all y'all have done is hugged? Seriously? With a note like that? With a text message like that? That doesn't make any sense. And David was like, well, I can't force you to believe it. You do. If you don't believe it, then okay. So then Dr. Cal asked him, well, what are y'all going to do now? And David was like, I'm smitten. I got the butterflies. I have, interest in seeing, if there's something there. I'm ready to pursue whatever, avenue is open. And I love Dr. Pepper's face. I really honestly did. She felt what David, was talking about. And you can see a smile on her face. So I had to put that, in there because she loves love. And I do too. I actually love love. Even though I've been cheated on, myself, and I know how painful, that can be. I still love love. And that's what I felt when I saw her. So we are looking at what's going to come up next week. Is decision day for Camille and Thomas and for Juan and Carla. And then they show afterwards that the couples are all going to meet up, and David and Madison, they show up. And Michelle says that she's mad. She's madder than she thought that she would be. Like I care, Michelle, because you hurt that man's feelings. Now, he's turned around, and now your feelings are hurt. And you want to hold him accountable for the way that he's hurting your feelings now. But you don't want to be accountable for the way that you've hurt his feelings. So, I'm going to need to see that before I can give you any type of credit on the human scale. So we're all going to find out, next week. And that's going to end the regular season. And then we're going to be into the reunion. And I normally load up, the reunion, all of it. So I'm going to continue to do that this time. And then I'm going to load up the Where Are They Now episode. So for everybody, this was a better week. I didn't have as many people in my comments accusing me of nasty things, of just really, really low character. And you don't know anything about my character to come up and demean me. Oh, especially of a trash like Michelle. Oh my goodness. I mean, my goodness, that was just crazy. And again, for people who think that I'm being inappropriate on my channel, I created this channel to try and stimulate critical thinking. And in my real life, I don't let people judge me. If I find out that you're judging me, then you're going to get another side of me. Because I have been judged by people, white and black, my entire life. And I'm over it. I don't, especially when you don't know anything about me. And these people are finding things to accuse David and Madison of. And now you're dragging me into it. You're finding things to sit up and accuse me of. I mean, your minds work overtime. So instead of your mind working in that direction, why don't you move it into the direction of being able to take facts, put them together, and then think critically? Now, if you do that and you have something to say, to me, then okay, we can actually sit down and have a conversation. But to apply to me the same thing that you guys are doing to David and Madison is a no-go. And I'm not going to put up with it. I will either hide you from my channel, or I would delete your comment, or I would do both. So I'm not into deleting people's, comments. I want the conversation to be there so that when somebody comes, they can actually see, what was being said. But if I have to, I will do that. So anybody who has hung in there with me, I appreciate y'all. I'm going to go ahead and ask people to, if you get this far, because, the attention span in this audience is just, it's something else. But I would appreciate a like, and if you want to subscribe, welcome. If y'all want to, I'll listen to feedback about whether or not you think that you want me to continue with the channel. It's going to move to Peacock, and I don't mind continuing to upload, but I actually want a community of people that are going to be there to support me. I'm not just out. I'm providing a service, and I want my service to be, appreciated with a like. That would indicate to me that you guys are interested in me continuing to put up this this information. So I think that's it. I don't think I want to pontificate, too much. I put up the wedding part where MM was talking to Ikechi's friends. And that's where we first heard that he's looking for a unicorn. And he has built up in his mind his wife. And he needs to go find her. Like a rainbow. Like you're going to look for the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Then that's where he's going to find her. He'll find us in the same spot, standing by that pot of gold. Anyway, and then I put up with Michelle and David were talking, and he was trying to tell her how she was treating him and how it was making him feel. And she was like, oh, you're trying to turn this back around on me. But then when she was down in the parking lot, when she was getting ready to go, she was saying, or outside, wherever she was outside. I just said parking lot. I don't know. But she was saying that she really doesn't spend any time with him. So she doesn't know how he, moves or what he does. And that is the thing that tells me that you weren't trying, Michelle. And see, this is how that happened. This is how Madison ended up with your husband. It's because everything that you didn't do, everything you weren't interested in doing, she was. So that's where he gravitated to, He was wrong for the way that he did Alan. But I actually don't care the way that he did you. I just don't care, Michelle. I don't care that your feelings are hurt. I don't care that you're angry. I'm sorry that he lied to you, but I don't care how you feel about it. I just don't care anything about the way that you feel, because I really don't consider you a functional, credible human being. And I got that all the way back from the beginning. And I haven't changed my mind, Michelle. So, you guys, you take care of yourselves, and I'll see you on the next video.